Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla, and for today's video, we will be reviewing a subscriber's finances. Y'all already know, I gotta give my 3 quick housekeeping items. First thing, if you are interested in submitting your financial situation for me to make an anonymous video just like this one, feel free to email me. It's in my description box, and I also have a list of things that would be helpful for you to include in that email. Number 2, if you want to take things a little bit further, I do offer one-on-one sessions, so I can help you come up with a custom debt payoff plan. I will help you to budget. I will help you to save. You will get all these spreadsheets. That is also linked down below, and you can see my offerings on my blog. Number 3 is that I do want y'all to leave comments and to provide feedback for this person, provide suggestions for this person, but please be sure that they are helpful comments and not negative in any way. All right, as always, I will begin reading the email to you. She said, "Thank you in advance for taking the time to look over my financial situation. Right now, I'm so discouraged and embarrassed and unsure of what to do. I'm struggling to figure out how I will reach my financial goals over the next 36 months. Now, typically I don't read the intros to the emails because it's like usually a little bit more personal, but I wanted to read this one because you don't need to be embarrassed. First of all, y'all know that I have a very gentle approach to these videos, and that's how I am with my one-on-one clients as well, because I know that finances can be embarrassing, but that's part of the problem. This is part of the reason why people don't talk about finances, because oftentimes people are embarrassed and they are in a situation they don't want to be in, but it's okay. Like, most of us make financial mistakes, but it's important that we go through that because we get to learn. And some of us just learn the hard way, and that is completely fine. Also, it sounds like you have a timeline for when you want to reach your goals, but just keep in mind that they're just goals. They do not define you. Your money doesn't define you. Your debt doesn't define you. And that's something I really worked on throughout my journey, because it's just true, like if you don't pay off your debt or if you don't reach your goals in 36 months, that doesn't impact your personality. That doesn't impact who you are as a person. It just affects your finances. Like, that doesn't define anything about you. And also, just as a reminder, I wanted to be debt-free by a certain point. Like, I wanted to finish paying off my debt in 4 years. And then I didn't reach that goal. I did not pay it off in 4 years. And then I was like, okay, by the end of this year, so it should have been like 4 years and a few, like 6 months, 7 months or something. I was not able to do that. It took me 5 years instead, but it didn't mean anything, It sucks, but it's okay. Like, the time is passing anyway, and you will get to your goal. As long as you keep sticking to it. It's gonna be tiring. I know that. It's exhausting. Paying off debt is tough, but you will get there, and it's okay if it's like 6 months or a year later, or even longer than that. But yeah, I know where you're coming from, but I just wanted to share that to hopefully make you feel a little bit better. She did post her debts. You won't see the minimum payments here because she provided an Excel sheet, and that is separate. So I will show y'all the minimum payments when I put it together on my debt avalanche and snowball tracker. But she has one credit card with almost $20,000 there. That's 18% interest rate, another 18% credit card with almost $7,000, then a third credit card at 10.99% and over $24,000. Credit card number 4 is very small, $565 and 0%. So that one should be paid off before this date, she said, before the 0% interest ends. She does have student loans. They're all with Advantage. I can't see the interest rates right now, but I know all were around 5%. So for the purposes of this video, since she doesn't have that yet, I am just going to say that I'm just going to put all of these together and say they're 5%, but each of them are probably a different rate, so it may be a little bit more than 5%, or some of them are a little bit less. But she has 4 student loans all through Advantage, and it looks like close to $12,000 or so. That's from undergraduate. And then she has master's. This is employee sponsored through my company, so I do not intend on paying this back personally. And that's student loan number 5, $8,670. So I'm just not going to count that one at all. I'm not sure if you plan on staying at your company for the whole time that that's paid off. I'm not sure how that works exactly, Like, do you have to stay with the company in order for them to pay that off, or no matter what, are they going to pay it off type of thing? So I would be curious to learn a little bit more about that so we could set things up properly when planning. Savings money market account has over $4,900. Money market account, again, this came up in last week's video. So money market account can mean many things. I know that there's sometimes just checking accounts or with like credit unions, and sometimes they're earning interest, but sometimes they're not. So if this is not earning interest, I want you to open an account that is earning interest. Y'all already know that I'm going to recommend Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I have my referral down below. That is my favorite high yield savings account, but there's others out there if you want to look around. But yeah, hopefully this is earning interest. If not, definitely do that like yesterday and go ahead and put your money into a high yield savings account. And the interest rate right now should be over 4% wherever you open it. 401k, don't know if this really counts as savings. She has $8,470.71 there. It counts as investment, so that does go toward your net worth. It counts as an asset, but I would not count it as savings, as in I don't want you to touch that. Like, do not pull from that account unless it's like life or death type of situation, you know? Try to avoid that at all costs. So yes, it does count as savings, but more so just as an asset in general. Okay, her income, she has a full-time job earning $83,200. She has a part-time job as a math/science online tutor, earning about $367 per month. That's awesome. That's really good. Budget, she attached as an Excel file. My car is paid off, so that is why you won't see a line item for a car note. That is perfect. Isn't it great being car debt free? Soon you'll be credit card debt free, don't worry. Okay, situation. Sorry in advance if this is long-winded, but I would like to give as much detail as possible. I live in Texas, I am 27 years old, and my top 3 financial goals to achieve by 30, which is December 2026, are to 1, save $20,000 in my emergency fund. She's on track to save $10,000 this year. Number 2, become 100% debt-free. Number 3, increase my 401k contributions to 6% so that I get a company match. Right now, I'm only contributing 3%. By the way, she did follow up in a second email saying she forgot to include no kids and she is not married. 20k emergency fund is a great goal, but you hitting 10k this year, I want to talk about that. So we'll come back to it. 100% debt free, that makes sense. We'll see if that's possible. Increase 401k contributions. I think honestly, looking at, I'm going to show you all her numbers, of course, in just a moment, but I think you should do that right now because it really doesn't make that big of a difference in your paycheck. Like I would go ahead and just put that up to 6%. You will be fine. It saves you money in taxes. You will see that it actually isn't that crazy of a difference from what you are earning right now. It should just be a little bit because it's just going to increase more to your 401k, but it's going to save you a little bit in taxes. And I found that when I went from 6% to 10%, I barely felt that, you know, like it wasn't a crazy difference. It depends on which platform your company uses, but my company uses Guideline, and I'm able to go in and like just adjust the number and see what that would look like, see how much that would be me contributing for the year. It's like a really nice platform. So hopefully you have that and you can see what that would look like for you. And I would just go ahead and do that because you don't want to lose out on that full 6% match because it is worth it. And I'll try to plug in some numbers and see what things would, like just try to lower your income a little bit and see what things would look like based off of that. I have a bachelor's in industrial engineering and I'm working on a master's in data analytics. I have been trying to find a higher paying job, but with the current job market, that has been so hard and I'm grateful to have a job now. I'm hoping the master's will help me increase my income to a $100,000 minimum so that I can start making more progress towards my debt and savings plan. I think that if I can keep my cost of living roughly the same for the next 3 years, I can achieve my goals with a 20k income increase. My plan is to finish my master's in February 2024 and land a new job within 6 months of graduating that pays at least $100,000 minimum. Those are some really good degrees, I will say. So a bachelor's in industrial engineering and a master's in data analytics. Like, yeah, I think you should be fine. I will say that right now the job market is weird. So hopefully by the time you graduate, things are looking a little bit better because right now it's just not the same as it was a couple of years ago. But I think just even with whatever job you would go into with those degrees are probably high earning. So engineering, data analytics, you should be okay. Okay, most of my debt comes from credit cards. I had a terrible shopping problem and I've been correcting this behavior for the last 3 years now, but it's been hard. I started with 7 credit cards and now am down to 4 credit cards. I think the addiction to shopping comes from going without for so long while I was in college. Also, I have been using my credit cards to help maintain a social life since I find my job to be emotionally draining sometimes. Going out helps to create work-life balance for me. I don't feel as though I have enough discretionary income for a social life since I am contributing so much to credit card minimum payments. Most of my debt from credit card number 1 was from buying myself graduation gifts and also to cover moving costs after graduation. Credit cards number 2 and number 3 are from shopping, eating out, and socializing with friends. Credit card number 4 was to purchase a new mattress. Over the last 2 months, I have been intentional about not using my credit cards for anything, and I've stuck with it. Okay, so we have another individual who does seem to have a spending problem, but she is aware of it. So we're glad to see that. I know that it's tough, but you really got to get down to that problem. And that's obviously not something that I am here to help. I'm not a counselor or anything, but you may need to talk to somebody if necessary. Like it can be a really bad problem for people. And if it's something that keeps coming up for you, then maybe you will want to talk it out and get to the root of that problem. But so far, it sounds like you're doing a great job, and I'm really glad you're not using your credit cards. For you, in your personality and your habits, it's probably best to avoid them. So you're somebody who I would recommend just using your debit card. I think most of my frustration and discouragement comes from thinking that I could have found a part-time job that would pay at least $20,000 per year to help me make more progress with my debt, but I haven't found a job that provides consistent hours to actually pay out that much. I have tried Uber Eats, but the cost of delivering food never makes sense to me. I have trimmed down my budget as much as I think I can, but I am looking for others' input/ideas as to how I can increase my income. Also, do you think I should save 3 months for my emergency fund, pay off all debt, and then save the last 3 months? Or would you save 6 months for my emergency fund at once? We'll get to that just one moment. Lastly, I've thought about decreasing my housing costs, but rent is so high now in Dallas-Fort Worth. On average, for a 1-bedroom now is about $1,600 per month, which, yes, it's absurd these days. Let's talk about the second job thing. Let me just make sure I got this right. My plan is to finish my master's in February 2024. So you are working full-time, you have a part-time job of tutoring, you are getting your master's, and you want a part-time job. I'm gonna say no. Like, don't. You are gonna burn yourself out, and you're gonna go shopping, you know? You're gonna come home and feel that stress and be like, oh, I feel like shopping, I deserve it. Honestly, I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think you need a second job because you are okay. We're gonna look at her spending in just a moment because there are some things that I think you should work on with your spending, even still. But I don't think you need a second job. If you really, really want one, you may not be able to find like the perfect one where you're gonna get $20K per year, but you don't need $20K per year, you know? Like if you have your full-time job and your online tutoring stuff, that is good. But if you do want to pick up a second job and make a little bit extra, I would honestly suggest like being a server. Go to be a waitress at a restaurant. Something that I always thought about, I literally going through my debt-free journey, almost on a monthly basis, I would like log on to Indeed and look at part-time jobs. And I knew I would not apply for any of them. I knew I did not want a second job. But all the time I was thinking, oh, if I could make like an extra $1,000 in the month, then I can put that to my debt and I'll be debt-free this much faster. Like I literally evaluated this all the time. It was honestly such a waste of time. So just in general, I would say you probably don't need a part-time job, and I would not recommend it for you. But if you really, really want to, I suggest serving. So that's the things that I was looking at, either serving on the weekends at like a breakfast place where you would work from like 5 a.m. until 2 or 3 p.m. So you have like the rest of your day. I also always was looking at like grocery stores. I lived right next to a Sprouts farmer's market, which is a grocery store. And I was like, if I really got desperate, I would go and work at Sprouts. They're always hiring. Like all these places, these retail places, waitressing, they're always hiring because they're usually short-staffed, and you can probably get a job like today. So I would do things that I can either make a decent amount of income, like serving, or where you can get like a discount at the place. So I always would do my grocery shopping at Sprouts. It was pretty chill. It wasn't crazy like Walmart or Kroger type of thing. And I was like, I could be a cashier or something. Obviously I never did it, but that's what I would consider. What I would suggest for you is if you're planning to finish your master's in February, that's coming up, like that's just a few months away. Start networking with people, like get on LinkedIn and just, you know, find people in with your similar degrees, the jobs that you are hoping to get that are going to be over 6 figures, because the sooner you start, the better off you'll be. And then if you expand your network, like who knows, you can make the right connections and find somebody that is interested in who you are, and then maybe you would have a job sooner than 6 months after graduating, and that would be perfect, because then you wouldn't need to have like 3 jobs, you could just have 1. Now, she did ask specifically about her emergency fund. If she should hit a 3-month emergency fund, focus on her debt, and then come back and save an additional 3 months, or if she should do the 6 months. Now, she also put together an emergency fund savings goal on the sheet that she sent to me. She listed out everything that she would need to pay for on a month-to-month basis, and it comes to over $3,000. So she says that 3-month emergency fund would be over $9,000 and 6-month would be over $18,000. I'm going to say neither. I want you to stop saving, actually. Like if I was working with you, I would say you're good. She has $4,901.16. I would stop there. Get that to $5,000 and you're good. Maybe $6,000 if you like feel uncomfortable with $5,000, but yeah, I would say $5,000 and you're okay. It sounds like your job is fairly stable. I'm going to assume that it's fairly stable. You have a little bit of extra income coming in. You have a plan, like you are going to graduate soon, and that's great. I think if you like start networking now and get ahead. You don't have kids, you are renting, and you already have a decent amount of money saved up. So I would say to stop there and just focus on your debt going forward. If you go back and watch my old videos, which I don't expect you to, but you can see throughout my journey, I did not have that high of an emergency fund. For the bulk of the time, I had like $3,000. It wasn't until like last year I had just hit $6,000. And I focused primarily on paying down my debt, and now I've been able to double that, you know? So you will get there. Like you will be able to put more to your emergency fund. Obviously, if something comes up and you have to use some of your emergency fund, then you can get it back to the 5K or back to the 6K. But I don't think you should go to 9K. I don't think you should aim for 10K this year. Like you were saying in this, you said you're on track to save $10,000 this year. Focus on your debt instead. It's going to help you much more because you have high interest debt and quite a bit of it. So yes, to be clear, my answer for that one is no more savings. If you have some sinking funds or something that you want to start saving for a little bit here and there, then sure, that's fine. Focus entirely on your debt. It's gonna go fairly quickly, and then you can focus on saving again. And it's okay if you don't have 20K by the time you're 30. Like, yes, it's okay, I promise. All right, so let's go ahead and hop to my debt avalanche or debt snowball tracker. This is for sale on my Etsy shop if you are interested in having it for yourself. The starting month and year, I am filming this in August. It is toward the end of August, so really this should be like, I would say September, but we're in August right now, so I'll leave it at that. I did go ahead and list out her debts from highest interest to the lowest, excluding credit card number 4, which was for Ashley Furniture. That's a furniture store, by the way, if anybody doesn't know what that is. But I put that one before the student loans because she should be able to pay that off. So she told me the minimum payment on that one was $34, but I bumped it up to $95. That way you'll be able to pay it off in 6 months before the interest accrues. Otherwise, we have credit card number 1 with an 18% interest rate, but the lower balance, I put that first so that you could pay something off and feel like more accomplished with it. And then you have the 18% but a larger balance for credit card number 2, and that is going second. Credit card number 3 has the largest balance, $24,700, but a lower interest rate. And then number 4 we've already talked about, and then finally your student loans. As I said, I did go ahead and just put 5% for all of them. Ideally, once the payments are no longer in forbearance and you can actually see what the interest rates are, you would list these out from highest to smallest. But this is probably fairly accurate, and you actually have much lower student loan debt than most people. Something I usually always mention in these videos for people with credit card debt, as well as to my clients, is to call your credit card companies and ask for a lower interest rate. So if you haven't done that yet, then be sure to call each of them, even credit card number 3. You don't have to worry about number 4 because you'll pay that off before there's any interest. But for credit card 1, 2, and 3, call all of them and ask if you can get a lower rate, even if it's temporary, even if it's just 2%. You want to see if there's anything out there because it can help you to save a lot of money. Paying 18% on a $19,000 balance and paying almost 11% on a $24,000 balance is quite a lot. That's going to be a lot of money in interest. Let's go to credit card number 2, because that's the one that's $19,766. And if you just make the minimum payments, the interest rate is 18%. Look how much you're going to pay. Instead of $19,000, it's going to cost you over $47,000 if you don't put anything extra to it. So that is the importance of getting a lower interest rate and paying your debt faster, because this would take you years. 113. Obviously, you're not going to do that because you're going to pay your debt faster, but this is why people stay stuck in debt for ages and ages. Credit card number 3 is kind of this, it's not as bad, but over almost $10,000 of interest, and it would also take a long time to pay that down. So if you don't make any extra payments to your debt, you will be debt-free by 2033, so about 10 years from now, which is honestly the norm for most people. But I don't want you to be in debt for 10 years. You will not be in debt for 10 years because you are going to put extra to it. So let's go ahead and hop over to the expenses that she shared with me. And I have them listed out here. You're not going to be able to see everything in one screen, I don't think, because, yeah, there's too much. Okay, so first of all, she told me her income is $4,897.68. That to me looks like take-home pay. Now, she did mention that she wants to do an additional 3% to her 401k. So we'll look at that in just a moment, but I'm just going to go through this because this is basically what August is going to look like. Since we're toward the end of the month, she's probably already spent the bulk of this and has not cut back where I suggest she cuts back. First up, her rent, $1,705. That is expensive. Yeah, I know as of right now you're probably in a lease, so there's nothing you can do about that. Hopefully in the near future, hopefully just costs will go down in general. It's ridiculous. No apartment should cost that much, but hopefully things do start to go down, or you can find a better, cheaper living situation. Utilities, $180. Car insurance, $216. That's fine. Phone, she put at $80. So anything that's highlighted yellow is where I'm like, okay, let's do something about it. Obviously, I'm going to plug Mint Mobile here because that is the phone plan that I use and I work with them quite frequently. This video is not sponsored by them, but I'm still always going to recommend it because you can get their unlimited plan for $30 a month. So there should be no reason for you to be paying $80 per month for your phone. I don't know if this is, I'm assuming this is just for yourself. It could be that you're also financing your phone, which I don't like. So yeah, just try to, if you're still financing your phone, that might take some time to pay off, but otherwise just go ahead and switch to a lower plan. You can use my link, mintmobile.com/deadoverit. The next few are her credit card minimum payments. As I mentioned, that Ashley Furniture one is $34. I'm going to leave that for August because I'm assuming she's only going to pay that for August. Student loans, she said $150. I would think, actually, now that I'm looking at this, you probably don't need to pay that this month, right? Maybe you're just saving it. And that's fine. I'll leave that on there just because this is what she gave me, so I'm not too sure. Maybe she's putting that into savings, but I would assume for August that is $0. Tidal, $10.80. I think that's like a music app. iTunes, 99 cents, that's fine. Netflix is fine. Orange Theory is a little too high in my opinion, $169. I'm going to suggest, I mean, if Orange Theory is the only reason why you're working out, then sure. Like if you wouldn't work out if you didn't have this membership, then I would argue that it's okay. But I think just like a general membership is pretty good. Like I pay $40, a little bit less than $40 for mine, and they also offer fitness classes. So there's like all sort of things, yoga, Zumba, step, boot camp, I think. So I could go to those if I wanted to, but I prefer lifting and cardio, a combination of things. So that works well for me. And I think you could probably get to that as well. So I would say you're not in a position to be spending $169 on Orange Theory, but I know some people have a hard time getting motivated and need to be like in a group setting. But make sure you're using that. Like, you better be going multiple times a week and like as much as you can on this plan to be paying that much. That's a lot. Eyebrows, $10, that's fine. Nails, $180. No, we're cutting that out. You are not getting your nails done with this much debt and this tight of a budget. I do not want you getting your nails done. This is so upsetting to me because I've worked with clients before that like non-negotiable, like they need to get their nails done. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you just should not be getting your nails done with this amount of debt and this tight of a budget. Like it does not matter. I promise you, your nails are not that important. Like my nails are never done, like ever. I've gotten them done probably 5 times in my life. Nobody's said anything. Nobody's said anything about my nails. I'm not disgusting because I have my natural nails. I'm not less professional. Like there's no reason to be spending $180 on your nails. I know it's probably a form of self-care for you, but that is too much. I'm not sure if you're going like multiple times in the month or if this is like manicure pedicure, but I think this should be $0. Yeah, that one really stood out to me. Hulu, $11.89, that's fine. I would say it's not like it's not killing your budget, but choose one or the other. Like Hulu or Netflix. Maybe you can share. Can't you like share Hulu but not Netflix? I don't know. Maybe cut out one though. Hair, $200. This is another one that I'm like, no! I know that some women out there do need to get their hair done. Like, it's just how it is. But if you would be open to it, I'm not sure what you're getting done to your hair. I know it is very expensive, no matter what, but God, I want to say put this to $0, but because many times the clients that I've worked with who make room for hair in their budget, like need to get their hair done, otherwise they like are not happy with existing type of thing. So, yeah, I would say to get this down to $0, but just, yeah, it's too expensive in my book. But okay, let's move on. Gas, $100 is fine. Food, $400, that's fine. Toiletries, I was a little bit questionable about that. Not sure what's included here. That sounds like a lot. Like maybe you're including like health, beauty in here like I do, where it's like vitamins, supplements, as well as like skincare and that sort of thing. But I'm not sure if this is on a monthly basis. She did put this into her variables expenses, so it's probably less than this. But yeah, I'll adjust that in the next budget. Savings, $44.18. Car wash, $16.67. That's fine. Toll tag, I'm not sure if this is monthly, but she put $40. And then oil change, I think this might be a sinking fund because you shouldn't be getting an oil change on a monthly basis. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I think it's a sinking fund. So that's fine. And what we're seeing here is the difference of 3 cents. So her spending is way too much. Like you are living paycheck to paycheck and you will not be able to make any progress like this. So the first thing, the easiest thing that you can do is to adjust your expenses and try to get a little bit tighter there. Something else I want to call out is look around and see if there's anything that you can sell. That's really helpful oftentimes at the beginning of your journey. If you have clothes that you can sell, if you have electronics, random decor around your house, like try your best to find some stuff to make some quick cash, and that will help you. Any cash that you earn from that, throw it at your highest interest debt. So let's look at the budget I put together. I kept your income the same, but we'll adjust that in just a second to account for you increasing your 401k contribution. Everything that's not highlighted, I left as is. So the phone, I lowered down to 40, assuming you would switch to Mint Mobile. I just put 40 because you do have to pay like taxes, and this is probably like 35. I'll put 35. But you typically with Mint Mobile, you pay in like a lump sum. You can pay for like 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Ashley Furniture, I bumped this up to $95 instead of the $34 because we want you to pay that off before any of the interest accrues. Gym, I said instead of Orange Theory, you could just get a regular gym membership. I'm sure there's similar gyms in Texas as they are in Georgia, but I know for mine I pay $40, so I put it at $40. Nails, I put at $0. So just do it for some time at least. Like go 3 months without doing your nails, or at least a month, and put that to your debt instead. You know, like $180 can go to your debt instead of your nails. That absolutely needs to be deprioritized, in my opinion. I left your hair for $200, okay? So I left that. Ideally, I would want that to be $0 because look, if we look at the difference, you'll see at the bottom, you'll see a big change there. You'll have $600 to work with, but we'll keep the $200. And then toiletries, as I said, this, you did put this in the variable, so I'm not sure what that's looking like, but I would prefer to see that at like half, so $150, just because you don't have room to be spending this much. I was almost going to eliminate the oil change and stuff because I don't think you really need a sinking fund. I don't know, I guess it's like a car maintenance sinking fund type of thing. Same with the car wash. I don't know if you have a subscription for it. I don't think it's necessary to go every month, like every other month at the most. The toll tag, I'm not sure if that's monthly, but I just left everything as she put in her spreadsheets. And this looks a little bit better because now she has about $400 to work with. If you bump your 401k up to 6%, I think your income will probably be like $4,700 or so. I'm not really sure. You would want to mess around with that, but I think you still could do that and have some money to work with. But for now, we're just going to leave it as is. I would go ahead and plug in some numbers and see what that 6% would look like though, because I do think you should take advantage of the 401k matching. So for August, you really weren't able to put anything extra to your debt. Let's just say $0 for August. But starting in September, from September through February, when you graduate, you can make an additional $400 of payments to your debt. So let's do $0 for August, $400, September, October, December, and February. By that point, you will have paid off your Ashley Furniture credit card number 4. That will be gone by January if you make the $95 payment each month. And then after that, I'm not too sure, you know? So if you stay at your current job and things kind of stay the same, you know, let's pull 400 down for some time. Let's see how long that would take you. Okay, you definitely do need to increase your income at some point just because your cost of living is quite high. But if you were to just do $400 in extra payments from September and on, you would be debt-free by November 2027. So that's not too bad, to be honest. That is not going to be your goal of December 2026, but it will take you about a year longer, and that's 4 years from now, and that's not too bad. Let's say things go better than according to plan, and you get a $100,000 job right after college. So starting in March, and you do $1,000 per month after that extra to your debt. I do want you to keep your expenses the same. I really do encourage you to lower your expenses, but if you're gonna keep things the same and you have $1,000 to work with, you'll be debt-free by September 2026. And that's gonna be before your goal. You may not have the $20,000 in your emergency fund, but that is okay. But you might though, because if you are making 6 figures and then you still have, maybe you're doing tutoring or whatever the case may be, you will have a lot more cash to work with and it'll be easier to do that. But let's keep the 400 for 6 months after February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and then the 1,000 for the rest of the time. And that puts you at exactly when you turn 30, I believe. So December 2026, and you will be completely debt-free. Again, you may or may not have the 20K, but you will at least be debt-free, and that is incredible. So here's the plan, basically, all in one segment. Over the next few months, while you finish up your master's degree, I would prefer for you to focus on lowering your expenses and getting into better spending habits instead of increasing your income, because That's more important. If you increase your income, you may also increase your spending, and we want to work on that. It sounds like you've started, but I think it would be better for you to learn how to adjust things that you're already dealing with. You can increase your income by selling some things, or if you can lower the interest rates on your cards and obviously cut back on some things, then that is perfect. If you can go from no extra cash at the end of the month to $400, it's like you giving yourself a little raise, And the more you can increase this gap, so how much the difference between your income and your spending, the more you can put to your debt from now through February. And ideally that would be at least $400 per month. After that, you're going to graduate. Hopefully you can get a job fairly quickly, but if it takes you 6 months, continue to do at least $400 per month to your debt. And then after that, once you do get your new job, at that point, we would need to come back and reevaluate everything, of course. But from there, you can determine how much would be left over from your spending. And that extra amount should be directed toward your debt. So at least $1,000, I would think, if you're in the 6-figure range. And with your new job, if you decided not to increase your 401k contribution at your current job, then you could do that later. And so you would be investing more, you would be able to put more to your debt, maybe a little bit extra to your savings, but you would be debt-free within 2026 before you turn 30, and then you can really focus heavily on your emergency fund and potentially hit that 20K goal. She also mentioned on one of her spreadsheets that she's hoping to increase her extra income, I think come January 2024, to like double the amount. So instead of like 300 or so from tutoring, it should be over 700. I'm not sure if it's from that extra income or what she is referring to, but I think with the tutoring, you probably could increase your earning potential there. We are now into a new school year, and oftentimes people do need help with math and science, so you could probably find ways to increase your income there. And yeah, this kind of goes back to the part-time job that you mentioned. Like, you already have a part-time like little side hustle going on, so find ways to increase your earnings from that. And altogether, everything should really, really help by you reducing your expenses, increasing your income, and then increasing your income even more once you graduate. You will be set. But if you don't hit all of these goals, if you don't hit your 20K emergency fund, if you are not debt-free by the age of 30, it is okay. It doesn't change your value as a person. It doesn't change the things, the knowledge that you've gained, the experience that you've gained throughout this journey. The next few years are going to be so annoying. Paying off your debt is truly a journey. It is a roller coaster of emotions, a roller coaster of finances, and it's going to feel long, but you are pretty close. And take it from me, as somebody who set goals for themselves but didn't achieve them at the point that they wanted to, but still was able to by 30. Like it doesn't change anything. I'm telling you, like, even if I was still in debt right now, it would be annoying, but it's okay. You are going to pay off the debt and you will get there even if you are 30 and a half. But it sounds like you have a lot of earning potential. So in the future, when you are debt free and you have your emergency fund, like, you're going to have, instead of you focusing on your debt and having to save money, like, you'll just be able to invest money. And instead of putting this much to your debt, you're going to be putting it to investments, and your net worth is just going to explode, and it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, that is what I would suggest for you. As always, I hope that was helpful, and this is another person that I would like to follow up with in 6 months time and see where things are at, and then we can go from there and see what has changed and the prediction, the outcome from that time. Those of you watching, please leave your friendly but helpful comments down below. If you have any suggestions for her, or if I missed anything, then please feel free to comment that down below. Otherwise, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.